Hello guys, it's Melly Summers and welcome to another video where I am building what I'm calling a kind of eco artist home. So as you can see, the shell is already built. So if you watched my last video, I made basically like a gardener's home. Essentially a home for someone who loves kind of plants and gardening. So I put an absolute ton of plants and I've got this kind of little like conservatory greenhouse that you can see there on the side. And yeah, I really liked the sort of style of it. It took me a long time to do, as I sort of mentioned in that video. The structure was kind of a pain in the ass. But I really liked how it turned out, and I did decorate it with custom content, so I didn't really bother putting it up on the gallery. And I did mention in that video that I kind of wanted to do almost like a second version of the house, decorate it a little bit differently and to not use custom content so that I could add it to the gallery and share it with you. So yeah, that is what you're seeing now. So I've done that, and my gallery ID, if you do like this build and want to download it, is MediJ1996, and you can always see that in the description of every video. So basically with this house, I did try to differentiate it as much as possible. So I kept sort of the structure and the landscaping because, as I always say, that is literally my least favorite part of building a house. So yeah, I decided to not sort of put myself through that again by changing it up. So I basically kept the exact same layout, but I made it this little bit more of a cabin style with lots of sort of browns. So the last build that I did, which again, I mean, you can check out on my channel, that was the last video I uploaded. But it was just sort of very like light and airy in colour. It's like a lot of like light wood tones and whites and stuff. So in order to just make this house a little bit different, I went with a lot of kind of like dark browns and blacks. And I really like this style. I mean, I liked the style of both houses. They're a little bit different. And then also to make it different again, I didn't want to necessarily make it someone who loves sort of gardening and plants and things like that. I decided to switch up the layout and the personalities as well. So that last home that I built, I kind of had it in mind either for a single sim or most likely a couple. So there was sort of one bedroom, one bathroom. But in this particular build, I have done 2 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, or at least 1.5 bathrooms, I guess, 2.5 bathrooms, because one is just like literally a toilet and a sink, and then you've got a full bathroom as well. So yeah, that was kind of you'll see the floor plan in a little bit, but in terms of the sort of personality, I really wanted to focus on, I guess, sims that are particularly creative. So as I said, it's 2 bedrooms, so definitely 2 sims would live here, and I was kind of imagining while I was building it that it would be sisters or at least siblings, but I do think it also would work really well if it was kind of just friends or even just roommates who have, I don't know, a similar job or a similar passion, or maybe they, I don't know, met at university or something like that. But yeah, so they are very, very creative. So I've got a little artist studio. I imagine one of them would perhaps be a photographer and then the other one a painter, and then they also probably are quite into music. So I've got a little room for a piano and a guitar as well. So the other sort of aspect of their personality is that they, either both of them or one of the people that lives here is very, very eco-conscious. So as you can see, I'm putting like a ton of sort of solar panels and wind turbines as well. So going on to the floor plan, the problem with having that kind of little A-frame structure on the side meant that some of the roofing was sticking out the side, and I couldn't really live with that. So yeah, I just kind of covered that up. And then when it came to the floor plan, I really, really struggled. So you can see me like moving around a lot and sort of, I played around with the structure in a lot of different ways because I find I really like that sort of conservatory area, but it is very, very big. And I don't think you'd really sort of split it into different rooms, or at least I didn't really want to. And because it's got those huge sort of windows, I don't think it's very appropriate for, you know, a bedroom or a bathroom or something like that. So in my last build, I think I made it like an office space, a dining area, and then a place for loads of plants. And I did something very similar with this one. But I kind of did this original floor plan, and then I realized that the kitchen kind of didn't connect to the dining room. There was like 2 separate hallways attached to each other. It was I don't know, I just didn't think it flowed together very well, so I decided to switch it up, and I added that second bedroom in there so that it would be appropriate for 2 Sims. And in the end, I really liked the floor plan, and I thought that there was plenty of room for everything. I don't think any of the rooms are particularly too big or too small, which is usually my problem, except maybe that sort of conservatory bit. But I did kind of make it a very big sort of dining area with an artist studio and a computer. So I did think I utilised the space quite well. So going into the kitchen, I do end up changing the sort of wallpaper because, as I said, I really wanted to focus on sort of browns and blacks as the main kind of colour scheme for this. So I did think that the wallpaper was a little bit clashing. So I think I put one of the sort of Parenthood wallpapers in there, which you can just see now. And then apart from that, I used a lot of the Snowy Escape kitchen stuff because I really like it. I use the counters all the time now. I think most people do. I really, really like them. And, you know, it's a well-documented problem that a lot of new sort of Sims packs don't come with counters. So I think it was very much appreciated that we got these with Snowy Escape. And speaking of packs, I see that there is going to be a new pack announcement, probably a stuff pack, I think. Coming on January 12th, I believe, which, I mean, on the day that I'm recording this is about 5 days from now. And it's definitely going to be a sort of supernatural pack. And I was thinking about it. I don't really do like spooky builds, you know, ghost builds, vampire builds, anything like that. I really love sort of family homes and kind of like themed homes based on Sims personalities, but I don't really do things like that. But I think I've spoken a lot recently on my channel about sort of challenge myself and doing builds that I don't usually do. I've done sort of starter homes and small homes and things like that like I don't usually do. I tried sort of A-frame structures, and now I'm doing this kind of sort of conservatory add-on to some of my builds. So I really am trying to challenge myself, and I do think that, assuming it is a supernatural build, which it almost certainly is, and I think it might include a ghost hunting career, possibly, like we had in The Sims 3, which I would be very, very happy with, because I really liked Ambitions as a Sims 3 expansion pack. So I'm kind of excited. I'm not really a supernatural player, but I don't know. I think I'm gonna sort of appreciate having some sort of new features to add to The Sims 4 and keep it a little bit interesting. But anyway, as I was saying, I think it would be a good opportunity to sort of challenge myself and do some maybe sort of spooky builds, supernatural themed builds. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that sort of an announcement. I know some people aren't very happy, but I mean, people are always unhappy when they announce things. So we'll have to sort of wait for that. As I say, that's in about 5 days, so that's exciting. But yeah, going back to the build, obviously Snowy Escape was the last build that we got, so I did use a lot of sort of furniture from the last 2 packs, or at least 2 expansion packs, Snowy Escape and Eco Lifestyle, because they're probably like 2 of my favourite packs for both build items and cast items. And you can really tell that as we sort of go through the lifespan of The Sims and they release more and more packs, they really sort of, the team are starting to understand what we actually want from packs. And you look at some of the earlier ones, especially like the early stuff packs, you got like 5 items in them. Like I literally refused to buy the luxury party stuff. It's like 50% off now, so it's £5. And I honestly think that's like £4 too much, because you get like 5 things. Whereas like packs nowadays, they have a lot more things in them. Like the Tiny Living stuff pack has so many cute items in here. So yeah, I really like sort of the style and the direction that they've gone with the last few packs, with Journey to Batu being the exception to that, as it is for most people. But yeah, I really, really like sort of the style of the last 2 packs that we've got. So I used a lot of the kind of eco furniture in the bathroom. And then, as I said, it is kind of a family who are very eco-conscious. So like I say, I put the sort of solar panels and wind turbines, and then also the dew collector. And I didn't actually realise until I sort of uploaded this build to the gallery, and then I took the screenshots. I edited this whole video, and then just before I sat down to do the voiceover, I took my dog for a walk, and as I was walking, I don't know what made me think about this, but I just suddenly realised that there isn't actually a living room in this build. So there's no sort of like TV and sofa, which I completely forgot about, and I don't know how. But there isn't. And this sort of room that I'm doing now, I think if you did want to sort of play in this build and you wanted to add a living room, I think this would be perfect. You can see that there's sort of a lot of space for a TV and a sofa, but I instead decided to make it a bit of a music room because, like I say, it's definitely some very creative Sims that live here. So yeah, I think if you did want to play with a living room, you could just put one in there. But I just completely forgot, and it's, you know, I'm just going to say it's a happy accident, and it kind of plays into the idea that they're a very eco-conscious family, so you know, they don't want to use up all that electricity with the TV, and then also, as I said, they're very creative. So even then, I imagine that, you know, if they want sort of fun and they want entertainment, they're probably going to sort of entertain at their creative pursuits. So that's basically the excuse that I'm going with. But yeah, I did forget to add a living room into the build. I still really like it though, and like I say, there's sort of lots of activities for your Sims to do, and sometimes I build. Especially recently, I've done quite a few builds where I haven't really put that many sort of skill building and personality items in there that kind of differentiate the Sims and add a bit of personality to it, whereas that's kind of what I focused on in this build. So yeah, I'm letting myself get away with this one. And then yeah, this is just the sort of conservatory area. So I've got that little sort of artist corner, which I really liked. A nice little place to paint, and I imagine they've got sort of lots of artwork stored there. And then I also have that sort of big dining table in the middle, and I think after I finished and I went to take screenshots, I did actually size down that rug with the dining table because I did think it was a little bit too big. But yeah, here I am just putting the computer. I mean, I know the computer uses a lot of electricity, but as I said, that's the story I'm going with. They have a computer, but they didn't want a TV. And to be honest, I do often put sort of computers in builds where I imagine that there's a lot of creative people because, of course, with the Nifty Knitting Stuff Pack, we got Plopsy. So I imagine that anyone who has sort of creative pursuits probably sells their stuff on Plopsy. So yeah, I did want to have a kind of office space in there, and then also just some sort of hobby things, so I put that little fish tank and the dartboard in there. And then I think after this, pretty much it's mainly just the bedrooms to go. So as I said, I do think that this would be perfect for 2 Sims or even more Sims because there is actually double beds. But yeah, I was kind of imagining just 2 Sims because it is still a relatively small house. I don't know, there is 4 seats in the dining table, so I definitely think you could have more. I think one of the bedrooms, the sort of double bed is pushed up against the wall, so I think the maximum in terms of bed space, you could probably have 3 Sims in here. And with the bedrooms, I decided to go with 2 kind of different styles. So this one here is quite a kind of like girly one with lots of sort of pastel colours, whereas this one carries on a bit more of the sort of cabin theme, so it's a bit more rustic style with lots of sort of browns. I actually really like this bedroom. It's like really simple, but I thought it worked really well. I really liked it. So yeah, like I say, I think they're both very creative, but in that kind of sort of rustic brown bedroom, I did add a little camera to this wardrobe. So I imagine maybe, as I said, one of the Sims is a bit more into like actually painting, whereas the other one is perhaps into photography. So maybe that's like their different careers. One is a painter and one is a photographer. That's kind of what I was imagining, but I think you definitely could go with some different things. I mean, all I did was put the camera there, so they definitely could have a different kind of role. Maybe that's just a hobby of theirs, but yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the build. So we're just going on to the screenshots, and I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. But yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!